Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. Welcome to the AI Guide on YouTube, where we're making AI human. What does that mean? That means we focus on the human impact of AI and the related exponential technologies that are going to dramatically alter this world in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to come fast, it's going to come hard, and the world is going to change so much in the next 10 years. It's very difficult for humans, the way we're wired, to comprehend this. And today we have another great example of that. But before we do that, click those links below. Get my book on Amazon, The Beginner's Guide to AI, A Short History of AI and Current Impact on 10 Different Industries. It's cheap. It only takes 2 or 3 hours to read the whole book. Check it out. And the second link, free resources to prepare you for a highly automated future in which jobs are threatened. So check out that resource link. Very important. Gives you more information than we can do in these short episodes. So on to today's episode. So we've done a number of episodes. This might be the 5th one on 3D printing. Why? Because 3D printing is another exponential technology that will be enabled by AI. So it's in its own exponential curve, but it will be further accelerated over time by AI, driving what this technology can do. 3D printing has come a long way in a very short period of time. 10 years ago, 3D printing was in its infancy. They could only print with metals, metal objects, very low quantity, very small size. Well, fast forward 10 years and everything about what I just said has changed. First of all, they can 3D print an entire house, and they're doing that in Texas right now with affordable houses for people. So that's one example. Another example is several rocket companies are using 3D printing to print whole rocket parts that are large, typically. And a little further on that, there's one rocket company, and I'll have to look up which one it is, but I did a previous video on these guys. They're going to build their whole core stage rocket 3D printing. We've talked about 3D printing food. NASA is just starting efforts to 3D print human tissues on the space station where gravity doesn't disrupt the process of printing the tissue. This is all groundbreaking stuff, and they're still pushing the envelope. In fact, they've been 3D printing wine for a while now. But here we go with yet another dramatic expansion in capabilities of 3D printing. So diverse and developing, this is how you can describe the current breadth of 3D printing in general and polymer materials for 3D printing. So it wasn't that long ago that you could not even print with polymers, aka plastics, with a 3D printer. Now you can. Materials vary in form factor. They either use powders, resins, or filaments to print, and these materials have many different properties: flexible, reinforced, tough, and cover a wide variety of applications: medical, industrial, dental, etc. So 3D printing is evolving so fast that the number of uses for it is going to dramatically accelerate. The other thing that's changed that I said in my first statement is 3D printing can now print at scale. It can print, instead of 1 to 5 parts, it can print 100 sequentially, and then you have to reboot and you can do more, but eventually it'll get to thousands and then millions of parts. So what else is happening with 3D printing? There are many, many different polymers being added to 3D printing market every single year. And 3D printer manufacturers continue to innovate on printer technologies. And these new technologies, some of them require very specific materials for a very specific application. And this is typical of a new technology as it starts to mature. It's still in an exponential growth rate, but at the same time, more and more applications are being developed, which means that the technology is starting to mature a little bit. 3 of these materials overwhelmingly dominate the polymer material market for 3D printing. And those are thermoplastic powders, thermoplastic filaments, and photopolymer resins. So that makes up the bulk of polymers being used now and a little bit down the road in 3D printing. Each has a different cost and a different market position, which means it's used for a different application, but the cost is getting cheaper and cheaper for these materials that they are using to 3D print now. You know what that means. Widespread adoption, application of this technology to many, many different industries and jobs. That's what it means. By the way, 3D printers don't make mistakes. They can produce parts with 0 quality defects, which is quite difficult for human beings. So that's sort of a quick update on 3D printing. You can tell from what I just said that the types of 3D printers themselves are growing quickly. The materials that 3D printers can print with is growing quickly. And even within specific types of materials like polymers, more and more options to 3D print things with are coming along. Wow, I can remember I went to a show, it was BC before COVID, and I saw one of the early 3D printers printing metal. And it took it like 15 minutes to print one part, which now is probably 30 seconds. And it could only do one, and then the machine had to be refilled or reset up, and then you would do it again. So it was only good for a very specialized product that was basically one of a kind each time. 3D printing is rapidly moving towards mass market. So thanks so much for tuning in. Click those links below. Get the book and the resources. We're here to help you. We're here to drive you to careers that will be relatively AI safe, including careers that require the human touch still, hairdressing, massage, and nursing, and home health care, and all kinds of stuff will persist for many, many years. But there are jobs that are going to automate very, very quickly now. Truck driving, warehouse work. So click those links, get the resources in the book. We're here to help, and we're going to continue to steer you to a direction where you can have a long, viable working career despite AI, 3D printing, robots, and all the other exponential technologies that AI enables, which is why we track them. So thanks so much. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.